Good afternoon. Yesterday was Good Shepherd Sunday, so not surprising that our reading came from John chapter 10, verses 1 to 10. So it was also not surprising that on last Thursday evening our thoughts were on sheep and shepherds and how Jesus, the Good Shepherd, leads and guides us in good times and bad to places where we can be at peace, where we can rest, where we can be sustained. And we thought about the metaphors of Jesus described by John in his Gospel. I am, these I am sayings, like I am the Good Shepherd, I am the gate, and so on. Complex and not always easy for us to understand. But yesterday morning I turned to one of my favourite Gospel verses, John 10, verse 10. I came, said Jesus, that they, you and me, may have life and have it abundantly. Abundant life. What does it mean? What does it mean to have life and to live it abundantly, even here, even on this 43rd day of lockdown? We have had the most wonderful spring. We have watched the spring flowers bloom, the trees green up, and this week the spires on the horse chestnut trees are open, and I have been amazed at the bluebells in Roundhay Gorge. Why haven't I seen these before? More than that, we have had some refreshing and much needed rain. We are in the midst, I believe, of the abundance of creation, abundant life, generous, prolific, bountiful, amazingly alive, season on season, year on year. And I reflect that isn't this abundance at the very heart of the gospel good news which Jesus taught and preached and lived? Reread the Gospels and rediscover his life lived fully as he loved extravagantly and was all that he was created to be. And I further reflect that over the centuries, in our desire to maintain order of both practice and belief, we have too often failed to embrace this abundance in all its fullness. We confine it, we dilute it, we make it fit our own criteria. How much we need to reclaim it. I am reminded of the words of Mother Julian of Norwich, who wrote that we are not just made by God, we are of God. In other words, we are in God and God is in us, because we are made of God. And surely, too, the creation is in God and God is in the creation, and what's more, this amazing creation is not something separate or apart from us. We are in and of the creation. Embracing the abundant life that Jesus lived to proclaim challenges us to be open to the creative wonders of creation, in which we all have a place and all have a part to play. It is beyond our understanding, and yet with open eyes and hearts and minds, can we not catch those glimpses which both sustain and hold us? Glimpses of the kingdom, I often call them. Even in lockdown? Yes, even in lockdown. And I reflect again that the kind of love that Jesus embodied and taught has no boundaries, no darkness, no power, no fear. Not even death can limit the power of love. For if love is limited by death, then love will always be qualified and quantified. That Jesus was willing to love without boundaries came at great cost to himself. But Jesus was willing to pay that price in order to show others the way to love without limit, without fear, without boundaries. Jesus can't save us from life. There will be darkness and there will be death. Darkness and death are part of life. There are Good Fridays too many to mention out there. We can shout all we want for Jesus to save us, but in the end we too will have to take up our cross and find a way to follow Jesus into the darkness and beyond, trusting that even though it feels for all the world that God has forsaken us, we will make it beyond the darkness. Jesus has shown us the way. If we are to follow Jesus, then we must love one another the way that Jesus loved. Love is the way beyond the darkness. Do not be afraid. Follow Jesus, who by love frees us from the power of darkness and fear, so that we can have life and live it abundantly and to the full. Even in this time of pandemic, we will come through it. Thanks be to God. Amen. Keep keeping safe, go well, and see you soon in one way or another.